Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. If you're enjoying the daily crypto content, make sure you smash the like button on this video and subscribe to be notified every time I upload another piece. Also, today, let's comment down below what country you're from. Last time, Australia had most people, so make sure you just put it there to see which country is leading now. Now, the first tweet of the day comes from the Crypto Bull 2020, with, of course, quite a controversial tweet. And just before we get into any of this, I want you guys to know that these tweets are not my own opinion. I'm showcasing these things to you guys to give you a broader opinion on what the whole community is talking, thinking, doing, and also to make sure that you know about everything that's going on. So the Crypto Bull says, remember, high volatility for XRP before the big boom. Those 10 cents up and down will mean very little in a few weeks when we are at new highs. When I first read this, I was like, yeah, he's kind of right. When I read it the second time, I was like, meh, he's a little bit right. When I read it for the third time, I was like, all right, this is just another one of these things. So basically, the first part is extremely correct. You got to remember that high volatility is not a bad thing, especially for XRP, and that it will happen before there's a big boom. There will most likely be quite a lot of volatility. But every time I got to the second part, I started to doubt a little bit. Now, those 10 cents up and down will mean little in a few weeks. True, but again, not true, because if you buy right now or you buy 10 cents lower or higher, that's maybe a 50%, maybe 100% change in price. So however much XRP you could get right now, you could get double that if it gets 10 cents lower. So from that perspective, these 10 cents do mean quite a lot over a longer period of time as well. Because if it gets 10% lower right now, or 10 cents lower right now, that's 50% decrease. And if it goes back up, it's 100% increase. So I guess if you're talking about 10%, 50% in percentages, then maybe it will make less of a difference. But in the end, these 10 cents are ridiculously high hitting, right? They really mean a lot. And there's just a lot of money that can be lost or captured within this small price range. And the last part is within a few weeks when we are at new highs, you can speculate about it, you can hope for it, but nobody really knows. And I don't think you should be preparing for it either. I don't think you should really have it on your mind that in a couple of weeks you're going to be rich because the cryptos are going to be doing insane. You may do so, but I think you're going to hurt yourself in the buttocks if you do think that way. Now, different subject, pretty cool to talk about bull runs and such, but there's also serious stuff in the crypto space and in world really. Sento Sumo Saba, Crypto Airy, just posted on Twitter, we don't have the luxury to think lightly anymore. The impact of this is going to change everything. Contribute to the world by offering up solutions so that we can navigate the coming challenges. And now I don't want to talk out loud and I don't want to showcase the tweet for too long because every time I say that word, the videos get demonetized or something happens to them or maybe even blocked for 18 plus, and we don't want that to happen. But it is becoming more and more of a serious issue. And in one of my earlier videos, I dedicated one of them to asking the question of what would happen to the price if such a thing were to break out. And I still hold by my first prediction of the prices will do extremely good. Why? Because you'll notice that governments really can't protect you from a lot of different things. They're looking for cures, yes, but a lot of authorities, they're not as strong as you think they are. And of course, governments want to look as strong as they can, but still, they're lacking in quite a lot of different places. And eventually, I think it will reflect again in cryptocurrency as it's the independent sector, and maybe people will also, since there's panic maybe in terms of diseases, they will also panic in terms of economic stuff, right? Because people are like, yeah, maybe if I, I'm not going to make it for a couple more years, maybe they're going to spend more, but maybe they're going to save more. Who knows? A lot of different stuff can happen, but maybe because of a huger outbreak or things like that, it could actually pick up the recession even earlier because it's already been like 12 years, right? Which is the longest period of time in, I don't know when. I could never see a longer period of time before another recession comes. So there's a lot that could happen with this outbreak. And there's also different scenarios in whether, or no, I guess different theories in whether or not it's real, whether or not it's a big issue, whether they're making it out to be, well, blah, 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 blah. But hey, we're noticing people are getting hurt by it, and I think it will reflect good on cryptocurrency, which is kind of sad if you think about it. A little bit of a different thing, just noticed from Steve Stevenson, he posted leaders and future of leaders. And then in there is VeChain for supply chain and XRP for cross-border payments. Link for oracles, FCX for brick and mortar payments, Ethereum for smart contracts, XDC for trade finance, Kava for collateralized loans, and UOS for gaming. Dero for privacy or Monero. Well, UOS I actually have no idea about. Kava, I know, I guess. FCX, never heard about them. I don't know, maybe the abbreviation is just foreign. But XDC, also have no idea. So it's a pretty interesting list. It kind of showcases that there's a lot of cryptos who can survive in the space, living separately of each other because they all have different sort of small things they want to do and go for. And I think it's an interesting approach. Another tweet comes from Crypto Briefing. They said, a digital marketplace, Veriartvifra, whatever, which allows artists to create unique tokens built on VeChain Official, has introduced ThorCommerce, the Thor plugin that will enable merchants on WooCommerce to convert fiat currencies to VeChain. Really quite interesting. VET payments soon available in the 4 million WooCommerce shops. So, yeah, I guess that's amazing news. There's no bad parts to that at all, I think. So, that's pretty good for VeChain. It's pretty damn good. So, I guess the last and maybe the most important subject of today is talking about market caps, talking about coins hitting trillions of dollars. And one thing I should first mention then is the first time I actually thought about coins hitting trillions of dollars was because of course, the bull run when market caps hit $833 billion. Right here, we can actually see that, $833 billion. But I guess when I really started to think about it not being Bitcoin as the number one was when Charles Hoskinson posted a video on YouTube saying that Cardano is going to be the first $1 trillion cryptocurrency. And in his theory, he said that it will be another 10 to 11 years, and I think he said this about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. You can see here a year and a half or something like that ago. And he said that it will be 10 or 11 more years before we get another 2017-like bull run. And at that point, cryptocurrency will have been adopted like crazy. So a lot of the issues will be fixed, like, for example, what to do when a person has the private keys, holds them, but then unfortunately passes away. What happens to all the money, right? What happens if that's your whole family wealth? $20 million worth is in those keys, and your grandma had it, and she passed away, being the only one who knew, right? What happens at that point? And those things are kind of reasons why people would not hold their own money and things like that. It's kind of a logical thing, because a lot of these things will have to be fixed before crypto can really, really be mainly adopted. But on the contrary, if there's bigger solutions to some of these things, you're always taken away from the independency and also from I guess there's a lot of things you take away from. Like, all the issues and all the adoption that's coming here are going to be hurting the independence of Bitcoin, I think, and the decentralization. They're going to be hurting it because, of course, more centralized entities will start to work with Bitcoin, which in turn will also make the whole network a little bit more centralized. But then, speaking of Cardano, I guess he said that will be the first $1 trillion cryptocurrency because it's so good. And that's basically it. And the next bull run will not be in 10 to 11 years anyway. And at that point, Cardano will have built everything they wanted, at least the start. And when I read that and thought about it, I was like, is that really the best competitor for a coin? Is that really the only coin that could get there? And I kind of noticed my top 5 would most likely include Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, and that's basically really it. I was like, let me make a top 5 before I start to make this video. And I noticed I only think there's really 3 coins who are competitors. The reason I value Cardano so highly is just because of his confidence and his scrotum, I guess there. because he has such a confidence that his coin is going to get number one. He has co-founded Ethereum. He's co-founded, I guess, Cardano. He's co-founded Ethereum Classic. This guy knows his crypto. So from that perspective, again, and with his insights on things, there's a good chance. There's a good chance. With Bitcoin, it's been the biggest coin, right? It's been the biggest coin for such a long while. I mean, when has it not been the biggest coin, right? That's name a date, right? Give me one. You probably won't be able to figure out one. And the market cap on its highest point has already been like 300 and something billion, right, for Bitcoin itself. And from that perspective, it's always simplest to assume that Bitcoin is going to be the one. Also relating from the fact that Bitcoin is at 170 billion already, meaning it would have to do quite a lot less to get there than, for example, an XRP, right? That's, I guess, pretty simple English for anybody. Right now, Bitcoin is at 170 billion, which means that to get to a trillion, it would have to go times 5.8, 5.9, maybe even 6 to get to a trillion. With XRP, you can see it needs to go times 100 to actually get there. So, yeah, if you think about that one, then yes, I do understand why people would think of BTC. But I went to check out a couple of articles talking about reaching $1 trillion market caps and such. And one thing I kind of noticed is that we're all kind of rooting for the main adoption of XRP. We're all rooting for huge utilization of XRP. And if you relate it back to all this utilization that's going to be coming, I know for a fact that $1 trillion cryptocurrency will be the beginning of everything. I mean, look at what happened here. So what happened is we were always at about $2 billion, $3 billion for the longest time, right? Or even less than that. Longest time we were at $2-3 billion. Very long time. Then here, suddenly in the start of 2017, started to run up a little bit. You can see the numbers start to run up, do pretty well. The more that 2017 passed on, the better the numbers started to do. You can see it start to get to some really nice numbers, But right now we're at, let's see how much we are, 270 billion, right? And actually take a look at with Bitcoin included. Let me actually do that. Right, let's scroll to $270 billion. Let's scroll through. The first time it ever hit 270 billion is right here, November 27th, or maybe between the period of 24th and 27. That's the first time it ever got to such a high market cap. And that's not even close to the end of this whole rally, but that's the first time it got there. Right now, we're already hovering at that point. And if a bull run would ever come again, a real heavy bull run, right? Even if we're at this point right now, it's pretty obvious for me to notice as well that a lot of money is going to get pumped in. Here, the lowest is about, say 25, and it goes to about 833. Right now, we're 10 times higher. So I think it's also pretty intuitive to think like, all right, we got to 25 here, pre-bull run kind of, maybe like 30, whatever you want to go for, 27 let's go for. And it got to about 833. I guess right now, since we're 10 times higher, it could get to about 8 trillion a piece, right? Or 8 trillion in total, I would mean. And this is no fancy calculation. This is no real talk here. I'm just talking with some intuitive sense here. And you might be thinking, all right, $8 trillion, is this too much for crypto? No. It's not going to change global wealth, how we view it. It's not going to change anything. It's really just the moment when these cryptos are going to be seen more as either traditional Forex, just traditional foreign exchange, maybe more as stocks. We don't really know what they're going to be viewed as at one point in the future. But at that point, it's really not strange if they were to take up a couple trillion in total market cap. And once it happens, once it does again get to those points, I don't know what XRP's highest market cap was. It would be pretty cool if one of you guys could put it in the comment section down below what the highest point ever was. I think the easiest way to calculate would most likely be to do how much was XRP per coin? About, let me actually grab a little calculator here. I think XRP got to about $3.50. I think it's 392. This is 392 times. Here it says 392 times 99 billion, or I guess circulating supply is what we count normally, right? I think here we count circulating supply, times 42 billion. Wait, so what did I have to do? 392 times 42 gives you 164. All right, actually, I'm stupid. I could have just done this times 4 with my stupid calculations. But hey, from that perspective, it needs to do times 8, right? It needs to do times 8 to get to that point. Well, what we just said is, right, we're already like 10 times higher than previous time. We can do times 10, right, from global market cap perspective. So we only need times 8. We can get to times 10 even if we just follow the previous line. From that perspective, it's not that weird. You know, if we actually cross, I guess, a way higher price per coin as well, all right, yes, it would definitely be quite a high price per coin, but it's definitely possible. But that would get us to $1 trillion cryptocurrency. And this is, again, not really based upon anything concrete. It's just to give you guys some intuitive sense of the possibilities of the cryptocurrencies that we're holding, and trading with every single day. So give you guys a little bit of an intuition, a little bit of a bigger thought, give you guys some perspective on the whole situation. And I personally think that $1 trillion cryptocurrency is not as vague and impossible as some people make it out to be. Even the prices of $20, $25, $35 per XRP is far-fetched, far away, not easily achievable, but it's not as crazy as some people make it out to be, right? I don't think people 100 years ago would have ever expected the way the world is right now. And same goes for about 30 years from now, for example. Nobody knows what the world's going to be looking like in 30 years because there's so many things going to be changing. If you just take a look at your parents, or maybe if you're, 60 years old, think about yourself. Think about your own childhood. Think back at what it was like and think about how the youth has it right now. There's such a big difference with how people grow up, and also because of inflation, of course, and I guess the change in production generally. If you just check back 7 or 50 years, just go back and just check real GDP, right? Check how that changes over time. A lot of people, let's say even 100 years ago, never expected it to go this way, never expected things to become so expensive relatively ever, and never thought money could be distributed this way, possibly, right? There must have been people like that. But who would have ever expected that Jeff Bezos would become this rich so fast? People thought Bill Gates would be number one for eternity, or that $100 billion would never be crossed, right? But maybe the prince over in the king over in Saudi Arabia or whatever, or what's the UAE? Let me say that one. Maybe the king over there or whatever already has $1 trillion. Who knows? It's not on paper, but maybe he does. And some people say $1 trillion per person will never be achieved. It will be. Eventually, a person in this world will have $1 trillion to his name. It will happen eventually. Same goes for prices in cryptocurrency. Same goes for prices in stocks. A lot is possible. It just takes time. It just takes general movement, right? It's not all the money from the crypto space is going to flow into XRP. It's not going to happen. And nobody knows whether it will be the first cryptocurrency to hit $1 trillion. But I'm quite wholly convinced, I don't know if that's a word, but I'm quite convinced that it will get there eventually, and there's no real stopping that we can do it. There's no stopping it, right? You either are on the bandwagon or not. If you think crypto is going to thrive, you most likely are also saying that Bitcoin, XRP, maybe Ethereum as well, are going to be $1 trillion cryptocurrencies. It's a matter of time. If you're not really of that expectation, then it most likely means you don't really believe in crypto too much, right? Because for BTC, in plain sight right now, you can see we need to do times 6 to get to $1 trillion for the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which would place Bitcoin at about $55,000. Do you think that's possible? I definitely think so. When? I don't know. Will it happen? Definitely so. But guys, that was it for this video. A little bit of a strange perspective, possibly. There's nothing concrete here, but still, I think it's some good food for thought, and maybe you guys can do something with it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you press the like button. If you didn't enjoy it, make sure you still press the like button. Make sure you subscribe for more daily crypto content, and comment down below whether you agree or not. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody, and have a very nice one.